Hey, it's about that time. Yes, thank you for joining our Let's Just Talk About It podcast. We are here to do just that, talk about it. This is the premier place to have a listening ear to some amazing topics and discussions, phenomenal guests that will push you to consider the power of change. Yup. What's change got to do with it? A whole lot, my people. Nothing is off the table. Y'all ready? Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Let's Just Talk About It, Instagram at Dr. K. Mischele Watson, and on Twitter, Dr. K. Mischele Watson. I absolutely know you're going to enjoy our time. So let's get straight into it. Well, hey, welcome to this episode of Let's Just Talk About It. I'm your host, Dr. K. Mischele Watson, and I am so happy to be back with you today. You know what I do. I talk about the amazing power of change and how to be changed beyond the challenge. So this phenomenal podcast is all about the things that make a difference for a lifetime. How, again, to be changed, right? And we can all do it, right? Because the only thing constant is change. So stay with me for the next few minutes as we start my podcast off with a heart of thankfulness for the amazing people to help that really help to make it possible. And that's my phenomenal production team and executive producer, Kratos Media, and my intro-outro music by none other than my longtime mentor, Dr. Ronnie Song of August Child Media Productions. Yes. I am always grateful for the people that partner with me. And I want to welcome you, as I usually do. And I am delighted that you are joining us for just a few minutes. Yes, just a few minutes together. And tonight, as I always say, is you and I. And I told you last week that that's a song. And it was bothering me that I couldn't remember who sang the song. And it was Stevie Wonder from his 1972 album, Talking Book. And I know that's my generation, so I'm dating myself. But it was really riding my nerves that I could not remember that song, right? But I want you to be encouraged because over the next few weeks, we'll have some amazing guests that's joining us, right? And they'll talk about how to be changed to make a difference in your life that will ultimately for a lifetime. That's what we're talking about, right? Being changed. That's an amazing thing, and I love every minute of it. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about co-parenting. This is actually a part 2. Because I shared last week part 1 of co-parenting. I wanted to come back because people were flooding my inbox with this notion of co-parenting and how to do it well. But before we jump into that, I want to make sure that you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel on Let's Just Talk About It with Dr. K. Mischele Watson. And, let us know that you are enjoying the content and what you're hearing so that we can continue to bring you great content. And as I always say, let's get straight into it, right? So, successful co-parenting. I think about it, and I'm thinking out loud, y'all. But successful co-parenting is so critical for your child or your children. And that's all about creating a stable environment, right? And I want to share with you a couple of quick personal tips and some experiences that I have had as I have lived that life. And I have also counseled so many other parents. But first and foremost, I think it's important that you be flexible. Flexible to avoid any roadblocks and stalled discussions. Flexible that you can have an adult conversation with the other co-parent that isn't argumentative, that doesn't create unnecessary hurt or harm to the other parent. Be gracious, be kind, so that you actually get what you want out of the situation, and that's being an amazing parent to your child or to your children, to your beautiful children. And staying focused on the end goal is always one of the most important things. The other thing I like to tell parents is accept that you might have very different parenting styles now that you aren't together, right? And that doesn't mean that it can't work, that just because it's different. Remember again that as a co-parent, your number one priority is that you love the child. Make room for the child. It's not about you having your way or it's always being your way or no way, but it's about making it work for their good. I always want parents to know that. I want you to remember to set boundaries. It is okay to set boundaries. Boundaries around time and communication, pick up schedules, drop off schedules, and that's going to reduce a lot of misunderstandings as well. As you consider what your particular boundaries are. Should you bring somebody with you? Should you not bring somebody with you? How are you communicating what that looks like so that the other parent doesn't feel bamboozled or pushed into something that they're feeling uncomfortable with? This, and again, this applies to both parents, right? And as you're moving on, figure out what that looks like. And what's also very important is that you communicate effectively. Transparent communication, which is going to create a very unified approach. And as I would say, to ensure consistency, be consistent, right? And this is so important because I tell parents all the time, good communication solves 90% of your issues. And it does. And it's important that you respect each other as co-parents. And it's that it is extremely essential that, as I was saying earlier, that I was thinking of this, you don't bulldoze each other because that's childish, that's unfair, and each co-parent deserves to be respected and honored in their role as a parent. And your child deserves that as well, right? And you can help your child feel connected to the other parent without issue, without resolve. And you can give that child as much attention, or children, because you might have multiple children, for what they need from each parent. Be good at that. And if you don't know how to do that well, find somebody that can help you work through any of the issues that you might have, right? The issues of they don't listen to me, they do their own thing, I'm always a second thought, I don't get to make decisions for the child, I don't get to join the conversation, they make their decisions and they leave me out. All of those kinds of things are easily resolved, right? And they're easily resolved with good communication. If something goes wrong, you want to be able to share honestly, transparently, and authentically with the other co-parent in the efforts that you will both work to make it better. You will both work to make it better. And the last thing I wanted to share is honor your word. Honor your word. If you said you're going to pick the child up at a certain time, pick the child up at that time. If you're going to drop the child off at a certain time, drop the child off. There is nothing more humiliating to your child is to be sitting around twiddling their thumbs, wondering if the other parent is going to be on their way to get them. That is so important. You've got to figure out how to manage that moving forward. Your word is your bond. Don't let your child be the one to figure out that you're not true to it, right? And this will create amazing opportunities to create trust, right? Because your child doesn't automatically have to trust you. Your child will learn to trust you by your words, your deeds, and your actions, right? So don't forget, make sure you put all of these great tips together as you're thinking about how to be an amazing co-parent, because your children deserve the best at all times. Not sometimes, but at all times. And don't forget, make sure you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, because I want to hear from you. I know you have amazing comments. I get them all the time. Amazing comments, amazing questions in my inbox, so that we can continue to have great conversations that, again, will help you be changed for a lifetime. And let's just talk about it. There are just so many great things to talk about. And we'll continue to share some phenomenal topics that will just enlighten and encourage and support you in everything that you do. And I'm looking forward to next week when we have another amazing topic. I'm not going to share it today because I'm really excited. I will share it in a couple of little small clips this week. So make sure you're tuning in and make sure you're listening so that you can hear those two things on our social media platform as I talk to you about those, because I want you to be excited and join us. Listen, have an amazing day, and make sure you take the time out and join me for Let's Just Talk About It. I'm your host, Dr. Mischele Watson, and be blessed. Well, everyone, that's all we got time for right now, but we'll keep the conversations moving and topics flowing. Join us for a new episode every Sunday at 8 p.m. for Let's Just Talk About It. Don't miss it, and don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We'll always have a little something for you if you do. I'm your host, Dr. Mischele Watson, and I'll see you on our next episode. Be blessed.